Hey there, welcome to Legends of All Time. Today, we're going to walk the dusty streets of ancient Athens and meet a man who didn't write a single book, didn't build temples, didn't command armies, but still changed the way people think for thousands of years. His name is Socrates, and many call him the father of Western philosophy. He didn't lecture from a throne, he asked questions right in the marketplace and turned everyday conversation into a weapon of truth. Imagine a short, not very handsome man with a strange walk, rough clothes, bare feet. No golden robes, no fancy hairstyle. People even joked about his looks, but when he opened his mouth, the whole city listened. Socrates didn't claim to know everything. He claimed the opposite, that he knew nothing. This wasn't modesty, it was a method. He believed that real wisdom starts when you admit you might be wrong. Athens at that time was loud and proud. After victories in war and the rise of democracy, many citizens thought they were the smartest people on earth. Sophists, traveling teachers, sold wisdom like a product. They taught how to argue and win debates, even if you were wrong. For them, truth was flexible. For Socrates, that was dangerous. If people care only about winning arguments, not about what is right, the whole city rots from the inside. So he chose another path. He walked into the agora, the main square, and started talking to everyone, politicians, craftsmen, poets, young rich guys, anyone willing to listen. His style was simple. He asked questions. When someone said, "I know what justice is," Socrates asked him to explain. Step by step, he showed how the person's ideas contradicted themselves. People who thought they were wise suddenly saw holes in their beliefs. It hurt. It also woke them up. This way of asking and answering is now called the Socratic method. You don't shout, you don't preach. You ask clear, sharp questions that cut through illusions. It's like peeling an onion, layer by layer, until you reach the core, or realize there is no core at all. With this method, Socrates tried to help people see that many of their strong opinions were built on sand. When you see that, you can start building something better. For Socrates, philosophy wasn't about distant stars or abstract theories. It was about how to live. What is a good life? What is courage? What is justice? He believed that the soul, your inner self, your character, is more important than money, power, or beauty. If you betray what is right, you damage your soul. If you try to be honest and fair, you strengthen it. In his view, the worst tragedy is not poverty or pain. The worst tragedy is becoming a bad person. One of his most famous ideas sounds simple. No one does wrong on purpose. It doesn't mean people are innocent. It means that when people choose evil, they do it because they are confused about what is good. They think this action will bring them happiness or safety, even if they're mistaken. So the cure for evil is not just punishment. The cure is understanding. If people truly knew what is good, they wouldn't choose harm. This is a tough idea, but it forces you to think about the roots of your own mistakes. Socrates himself lived in a very direct way. He didn't chase luxury, he didn't hoard money. He spent his days talking and questioning, often forgetting about basic comfort. Many thought he was crazy, but some young Athenians were fascinated by him. One of them was Plato, who later became a giant of philosophy and wrote down many of Socrates' conversations. Without Plato, we would know almost nothing about this strange, stubborn man. Of course, not everyone loved Socrates. Powerful people don't enjoy being publicly exposed as confused or hypocritical. Parents worried that he was putting dangerous ideas into the heads of their sons. When you teach young people to question everything, including authorities, you make the city nervous. The image of Socrates as a corrupter of youth began to grow. Then came a dark time for Athens. The city lost a long war, suffered political chaos, and looked for someone to blame. In moments like that, societies often turn on those who ask uncomfortable questions. Socrates was put on trial. The official charges sounded serious: not believing in the city's gods and corrupting the young. In truth, he was on trial for being a mirror that showed Athens its own face. At his trial, Socrates didn't beg for mercy. He didn't cry or try to charm the jury. He spoke calmly and directly. He argued that he had always tried to push people toward virtue and truth. He even said that Athens should reward him, not punish him for his work. For the jury, this sounded arrogant. They sentenced him to death. The method of execution was simple and cruel. He had to drink a cup of poison, hemlock. His friends begged him to escape. They had plans. Guards could be bribed. There was still time. But Socrates refused. For him, running away would mean betraying his own principles. He had always taught respect for the laws and the city. To save his life by breaking those laws would destroy that teaching. It would make his words empty. So he chose to stay. The scene of his death is one of the most powerful in history. Socrates sits with his friends around him. They are crying, desperate, broken. He remains calm. He talks about the soul, about the possibility that death is not the end, but a new journey. Then he drinks the poison. His legs grow heavy, then numb. He lies down, says a few last words, and goes silent. A man who spent his life asking questions dies with the same calm courage he preached. What's left after such a life? No books, no grand temple, just stories and the minds he changed. But those minds, especially Plato's, carried his influence forward. Plato built whole systems of thought inspired by Socrates. Later, Plato's student Aristotle pushed philosophy even further. Through them, Socrates' spirit entered Roman thought, medieval theology, and finally modern science, ethics, and politics. When people today say, "Let's question our assumptions," they echo him, often without knowing it. Socrates' impact is not only in universities or books. His method lives in classrooms, therapy sessions, interviews, and even everyday conversations. When a good teacher doesn't give the answer, but asks you, "Why do you think that?" That's Socrates talking through them. When you challenge your own belief instead of defending it at any cost, you're doing exactly what he wanted people to do. Why does his story still matter now? Because we live in a world full of noise, opinions, and quick answers. It's easy to join a crowd, shout slogans, and never ask if they're true. Socrates offers another path. Slow down. Ask sharp questions. Be ready to admit you don't know, and care more about being honest than being right. It's not a comfortable path, but it's a path to a stronger, clearer mind. So when you hear the name Socrates, don't think of a dusty statue in a museum. Picture a man in a simple cloak standing barefoot in a busy square, talking to anyone who'd stop for a moment. Picture him slowly turning their certainty into doubt, and their doubt into a deeper search. Picture him choosing death over betrayal of his own principles. That's why he became a legend, not only of his time, but of all time. If this story about Socrates, the man who turned questions into a force that shaped Western thinking, inspired you, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Legends of All Time, and check out other videos on our channel. There are many more great minds and powerful stories waiting for you there.